Jungkook of BTS once again sent the global army into overdrive after he was spotted arriving at Humberto Delgado Airport in Lisbon, Portugal, in a scene that looked more like a movie set than an ordinary airport arrival. Photos and fan-shot videos that quickly spread across social media showed Jungkook moving through a dense crowd of fans and photographers while maintaining a calm, almost untouchable aura. He appeared effortlessly stylish in a glossy black leather jacket, a dark green camouflage cap, and a black face mask that concealed part of his face but did nothing to hide his star power. Even in motion, even surrounded by raised phones and cameras, he carried that unmistakable idol energy that makes people stop scrolling and start staring. But while the internet was already melting down over Jungkook's cool, composed visuals complete with a hoop earring and a firm, upright posture, another detail began to dominate the conversation: a brief, unexpected remark allegedly made by his bodyguard, being widely referred to by fans as Mr. Lee at the exact moment Jungkook and his security team navigated the loudest part of the crowd. It wasn't a dramatic speech. It wasn't a formal announcement. It was short, casual, and delivered in the middle of an airport situation that demanded focus, and that is precisely why it struck ARMY as so suspiciously meaningful. In the clips circulating online, the atmosphere is tense but electric. Fans press forward, not necessarily aggressively, but with that familiar wave of excitement that happens when a superstar arrives in public. Photographers lift cameras high above their heads to get a clear shot, while fans hold their phones up like a forest of screens, trying to capture even a single second of Jungkook walking by. Security attempts to keep the pathway open and maintain a safe distance, forming a moving barrier around him. Jungkook, however, remains steady, head slightly raised at one point, as if looking upward through the chaos, seemingly unfazed by the intensity of attention around him. This airport sighting in Lisbon is happening at a time when BTS-related activity is under a microscope. According to widespread fan reports and online discussion, the Lisbon arrival came alongside the presence of the full group OT7 after a transit in Dubai, following their departure from Incheon on February 2, 2026. For fans, the idea of seeing BTS together again in full formation after the military hiatus era is not just exciting, it's emotionally explosive. It feeds into a broader wave of speculation that the group's activities in Portugal could be connected to major preparations, possibly a comeback era tied to the rumored 2026 project, often referred to online as Arirang 2026, and possibly even a music video shoot in an exotic European location or early steps toward a future world tour plan. HYBE has not released an official statement confirming BTS's agenda in Portugal, which has only intensified the guessing game. And then came the Mr. Lee moment. Multiple fan accounts claimed that as Jungkook's team moved through the crowd, Mr. Lee made a brief comment while acknowledging fans. The exact wording varies depending on who retells it, which is normal in fast-moving viral moments where audio is unclear and people interpret what they think they heard. Some insist it was just a polite acknowledgement, the kind security staff might give to keep the mood calm and cooperative. Others swear there was an extra phrase, something that sounded almost like a hint, not a clear announcement, not something that would be obviously official, but a sentence fragment that, in the minds of fans, carried the weight of a secret. Why would that matter? Because BTS security rarely becomes part of the story, at least not on purpose. Bodyguards are trained to manage movement, ensure safety, and minimize risk, especially in tight public spaces like airports. They are typically careful, neutral, and focused, offering little more than gestures to guide the crowd back. That's why even the idea of Mr. Lee saying something that could be interpreted as a clue feels like a major event in itself. In the BTS fandom, small details can spark massive theories. A hand gesture, a glance, a timing, coincidence, anything can be analyzed. When a bodyguard is suddenly framed as the source of a hint, the fandom's detective mode doesn't just activate, it explodes. Within hours, social media timelines were filled with slowed-down versions of the same clip. Fans adjusted the volume, used headphones, compared different angles, and debated what was said. Some argued it was a simple phrase meant to calm fans down, something like, "Please step back," or "Thank you." Others argued it sounded like something more personal, like a reassurance that Jungkook noticed the fans or appreciated them, an emotional spark that would naturally go viral. But the most provocative interpretation, the one that gained the most traction, was that the remark contained a subtle confirmation that something was happening in Lisbon beyond a normal arrival. It wasn't that Mr. Lee explicitly mentioned an album, a music video, or a tour. It was the tone and timing that made fans feel like they had just overheard a piece of a bigger puzzle. In fan culture, especially in a fandom as massive as ARMY, this kind of ambiguity is like fuel. A clear statement can be accepted and moved on from, but a vague statement? That's a universe. It invites theories, edits, reaction videos, and endless discussion threads. It encourages fans to connect dots: Jungkook's fashion, the presence of cameras, the fact that OT7 is allegedly together, the choice of Lisbon, the transit through Dubai, and the timing following their departure from Incheon. Suddenly, Mr. Lee's short comment becomes a thread that, if pulled hard enough, might unravel the entire plan. The Lisbon setting itself adds to the mystique. Portugal is cinematic, full of dramatic coastlines, historic streets, and visually striking architecture, exactly the kind of location fans imagine for a high-budget music video or a global brand project. The moment fans heard Lisbon, theories started before anyone even saw a single airport photo. Then the images dropped. Jungkook in glossy black leather, masked, composed, surrounded by chaos, looking like he stepped out of a fashion editorial. It didn't look like an accident. It didn't look like just travel. It looked like something that was meant to be seen, whether intentionally or not. And yet, there is an important difference between what fans speculate and what can be verified. As of now, there has been no official confirmation from HYBE regarding the purpose of BTS's presence in Portugal. That lack of confirmation creates a vacuum that the fandom naturally fills with excitement and pattern recognition. It also creates the perfect conditions for moments like the Mr. Lee remark to become amplified. When people want answers, they cling to any potential clue, even if it's unclear, even if it's unintentional. Still, it would be a mistake to dismiss the emotional reality of why this has become so viral. Jungkook's relationship with fans has always carried a particular intensity, an energy that is affectionate, sincere, and deeply felt on both sides. Fans don't just love his performances, they love the person they believe he is, humble despite superstardom, grounded despite global attention. In the viral airport clips, many netizens praised Jungkook's calm behavior in a crowded situation, noting how he stayed composed while security worked to keep things under control. That calmness, paired with his striking visuals, made the footage feel iconic, like a moment that belongs in the history of BTS airport sightings. Mr. Lee's presence in that moment also matters because security staff are often seen as silent witnesses to the reality of idol life. They see the exhaustion after long flights, the tension of crowded spaces, the pressure of non-stop schedules. Fans sometimes romanticize the idea that bodyguards know the truth behind the scenes. So when a bodyguard appears to speak, even briefly, fans read it as something valuable. In that sense, the virality isn't just about what was said, it's about who allegedly said it. Some fans also interpreted the remark as a deliberate attempt to maintain calm and safety. If the crowd was swelling and the pathway was narrowing, a quick friendly acknowledgement could reduce panic and make fans more cooperative. A warm tone can sometimes do what strict commands cannot. Under this interpretation, Mr. Lee didn't drop a hint at all, he simply managed the situation well. But on the internet, good management can still be transformed into mythology. A practical comment becomes a clue. A polite phrase becomes a secret. Meanwhile, the Jungkook footage continued to rack up views across platforms, especially on X, where the clips gained thousands of likes and reposts in a short time. One particularly popular post featured Jungkook's upward head tilt, a moment where he appears to look into the distance above the crowd, prompting captions that made fans emotional and dramatic in the best fandom way. People described him as unreal, as glowing, as someone who can turn a chaotic airport into a runway. Whether you call it charisma, presence, or simply the power of a global idol, the effect was the same. Everyone was watching. And then, because the internet never rests, the theories evolved. If OT7 was indeed arriving in Lisbon after a Dubai transit, why Lisbon? Why now? Why the timing so close to the 2nd of February 2026, when they reportedly departed Incheon? Fans began to float possibilities. Some suggested they might be filming something large-scale, a music video, a documentary segment, a travel-based content series, or a promotional project tied to the next era of BTS. Others went bigger. Could this be early planning for a world tour, with Lisbon serving as a symbolic start line for an international rollout? Of course, none of this is confirmed. But fandom speculation operates on hope, excitement, and the desire to be ready the moment something becomes official. Within that landscape, Mr. Lee's alleged remark serves as a narrative spark. It gives the story a twist. It suggests proximity to information, even if that's not necessarily true. It turns a standard airport arrival already exciting because it's Jungkook into a mystery, a secret-coded message event. That kind of storytelling is irresistible online. It creates a reason to rewatch the clip. It makes people share it with friends. Did you hear what he said? It pushes engagement higher because everyone wants to be the one who figured it out. At the same time, responsible reporting requires acknowledging the limits of what can be claimed. In fast-moving viral moments, audio can be distorted, translations can be inconsistent, and excitement can shape what people believe they hear. Without clear verification, it's safest to describe the situation as fans describing a short remark that sparked widespread interpretation, rather than presenting a single definitive quote as confirmed fact. The phenomenon here is not only the remark itself, but the fandom response to it. What can be stated with confidence based on the footage and fan posts is that Jungkook drew intense attention in Lisbon, and his arrival became a major trending topic across social media. His styling black leather jacket, camo cap, black mask was repeatedly noted as cool, stylish, and iconic. The crowd appeared significant, with many people lifting phones and cameras, and security actively managing movement. Jungkook remained calm, walking with focus beside his team. Those visual facts alone are enough to spark a news cycle in K-pop fandom spaces. The additional layer, the idea that Mr. Lee acknowledged fans and said something surprising, turned it into something even bigger. In many ways, this moment reflects what makes BTS and Jungkook so powerful in pop culture. They don't need a stage to create impact. An airport hallway becomes content, a brief glance becomes a GIF. A short comment becomes a theory thread. The boundary between everyday life and entertainment blurs, not because the artist tries to manufacture it, but because the audience is so attentive, so emotionally invested, that every public appearance feels like an event. For ARMY, the Lisbon sightings are not just another airport look. They feel like a signal that the BTS era is shifting again, moving from the quiet uncertainty of hiatus and individual schedules toward the possibility of a reunited chapter. The mention of a rumored comeback project, the thrill of OT7 being spotted together, and the hunger for any clue about what comes next all converge into a single emotional storm. That's why a bodyguard's alleged remark can feel like a major revelation. It's not because fans think security staff are official spokespersons. It's because fans are searching for meaning, and any small sign feels like confirmation that something extraordinary is approaching. Until HYBE provides official information, the speculation will continue. The edits will multiply. The debates over what Mr. DQ7 formation, HYBE2H the speculation. Lee said will keep resurfacing, especially as new angles or higher quality clips appear. And Jungkook's Lisbon Airport visuals will remain in circulation as one of those unforgettable moments where he looked impossibly cool in the middle of real-life chaos. Whether Mr. Lee's remark was truly a hidden message or simply a polite acknowledgement in a crowded airport, one thing is undeniable. Lisbon has become the newest hotspot in the BTS universe, and ARMY is watching everything, every step, every look, every second, with the kind of intensity that only a global fandom can create. The moment Jungkook stepped into that airport crowd, the narrative started writing itself. And with just a short sentence, real, misheard, or interpreted Mr. Lee may have added the twist that turned excitement into obsession. For now, the story remains suspended between what is seen and what is believed. The images are real, the crowd is real, Jungkook's calm presence is real. The theories, the clue hunting, the emotional reactions, those are real too, even if the conclusions aren't confirmed. That is the power of a viral moment. It doesn't need certainty to capture attention. It only needs a spark. And in Lisbon, on the 4th of February 2026, ARMY believes they heard one.